Good afternoon and welcome to the final round of the Club versus Cup Championship from Suzuka. We're towards the end of the qualifying session and we can have a quick run through what our championship standings are. Coming into this last event, MX5M led by Sendersky ahead of Shire, Kudirka and Markaitis. That one is, well, there is a drop round, I do believe, so I think that one's not done just yet. MX5 Pro-Am, it's Barbukov, Terchali, and Trumpke. Your top three, there is still a battle for third and maybe for second, but Barbukov has taken that title comfortably. Spawn ahead of Nikanen, ahead of Dotartas in the GT4 Pro-Ams. And there is maybe an opportunity for some position changes. And GT4 Pro, well, that was won by Jan Nims, but it's a big battle between Mendeles and Talianos for P2. And I'm joined, as always, by Lorinas.
Welcome everyone, and welcome to basically the end of the qualifying session for the last round in the Club versus Cup Championship. As Gustas already mentioned, a couple of classes have already basically crowned their champions, including the main GT4 Pro Plus class, and as usual, with the driver of Jan Nims, in championships like these that have a drop round, he comes, takes the championship, and he does not end the final round, leaving it all to the drivers behind him to battle it out, and that includes Matas Mendeles and Talianos, two drivers who have free track ahead of them to try and finish in front of each other to take that second spot. So up until then, we still need to finish the qualifying session, which is currently led by Talianos. Mendeles is half a second behind now, and a couple of tenths only in front of Singh, which, by the way, I believe is a driver whom I see for the first time in this championship. He's driving for the GT4 Pro Plus class, so he might be the wild card here in this battle for the second place in the GT4 Pro Plus class. Well, let's wait it out and see how it goes.
Yep, it's hard to tell where we are in terms of championship because of those drop rounds. Yes, 5 are done, but we don't know really what the drivers would be able to drop if they're able to drop anything, because if somebody had a no score and are on this amount of points, well, they're only going to gain tonight if they can score points. It's an increase in the grid, 22 cars out on track, quite a lot of MX5s. We've got 10 GT4s and 12 MX5s total. But then obviously you do have the subclasses in each of those categories. GT4 Pro leads in terms of top 3 in qualifying at the moment. And the car in 4th position in GT4 Pro is last in the GT4s. For the MX5s, it's a Pro-Am car of Barbukov at the top, ahead of Sendersky in second, but that is an MX5 AM car. So, yeah, results difficult to see because we do have so many subcategories. So the AM and Pro-Am cars out on track at the same time, essentially battling for overall position, which isn't in any way reflected in the championship. So sometimes you might see drivers just lifting off and letting someone through, and just because they're in a different category, and that won't be their fight. But the big one we're watching here is Talianos v Mendeles, but if we look in terms of lap time, I'm not so sure there will be much of a battle, because it's a difference of half a second at the top of the standings. And, well, Mendeles would have to pull something real crazy out to find half a second once he gets into the race. And as they both have come down into pit lane, they won't try again. So the front two will stay as they are unless somebody can improve. And well,
Doesn't seem
closest one
like
to
it.
doing
Doesn't
that.
seem
Nope,
like it.
it's yellow for the first two sectors for Singh. And he'd have to find about 2.5, almost 3/10 of a second to get in front. And well, I'm gonna guess that's a corner cut because he just jumped right over that curb in the chicane. But still continues to finish out the lap. So what will that be? Not even close. Actually, oh wow, over a second slower than his fastest time. So it looks like qualifying pretty much done. Unless Nikkanen can find something.
Goes close to the
Nope.
wall, but it doesn't seem like it.
Nope. And lap time, well, wasn't deleted, but slower. So no real improvements coming from anybody. And we get ready to go racing. It's a 45-minute race. The MX-5s will have to stop for fuel. The GT4s, in theory, can skip refueling, but I think everybody's gonna come down pit lane. And it really is just a splash.
5 liters of fuel or so, as one of the drivers has given us some calculations. So
Yeah,
it's not much.
Well, 5 liters. Yeah, it's savable. Definitely. The question is how much pace are you gonna lose? And what was the predicted race length?
21 laps.
Okay, 21 laps. So, yeah, we're looking at about 0.25 of a liter per lap that you need to save. I think that's going to be, well, it's a pretty long track though, so maybe possible without too much of a time loss, maybe losing a 10 for 2. You do have that run down into turn 1 where you can save quite a lot of fuel. Then through the S's, not much you can do. But then you've got Spoon Corner. You can try saving fuel there. A few opportunities. We'll see if anybody manages to do that and decides to do that.
As always, this championship has a couple of strategic opportunities, at least for the GT4 class. Well, the pit stop is not mandatory, meaning that the drivers can choose and opt for a fuel-saving strategy during their race time. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And we as the viewers are always interested seeing these different strategies and comparing the outcome of it. Anyways, the main target for this evening's race is gonna be Matas, Mendelis and Talianos, the battle of the two remaining titans on the circuit. And well, in about 20 seconds the show is gonna get rolling. Everybody is getting prepared. And let's stick with the drivers as, oh, again, we have a nice day-to-night time cycle happening here.
Yep, we're going to go day, night, quite a few times here until it fixes itself as we get ready to get rolling, and we're underway. Looks like a decent enough getaway for Tanianos to hold the lead down into turn 1. Mendelis immediately drops into the slipstream behind as the sun rises as they head into turn 1. And through turn 1, it's as they were for the top 2. Singh, though, lost a lot of spots. He's down into P6.
Something definitely went wrong for the driver from India. He qualified so well, third behind the two fastest cars, and now he finds himself not only behind the two GT4 Pro Plus drivers, he's also behind 3 GT4 Pro M drivers. That means he'll have a little bit of work to do here, and this is the first time for Singh to start, well, at least in the first division, unless, again, my memory confuses me. But it's nice seeing new drivers joining this championship. Yep, he's not here on the table, so he needs to figure out all the interesting parts of this championship and how one should compete here to be competitive. As we see in the front, Talianos is already pulling out a gap as Singh is kind of struggling here in front. Well, I mean in 6th position, tries to go to the inside into the hairpin. Is it already spoon corner? So an inside overtake works. And Lapo actually should lose, well, almost lost a couple of places. Singh through back into P5 and leaving Lapo behind, fight out with Sarma and Nikanen.
Luckily for Singh, there isn't much of a difference because the next closest pro car is so far down. It's in 10th place and the only other pro car, so he kind of can finish on the podium as they go free wide into Casio, and that's not going to work. It doesn't work sometimes too wide. Free wide is definitely a stretch in, well, P6 still for Singh, as he's side by side, I believe, with Nikanen. Nope, he's out all alone. Taliano still 1 point free at the top of the field, and, well, that is very bad news for Mendeles. This is Barbakov, and well, is he under pressure? He is under pressure from Sendersky behind, but neither of them really have to do anything because they're both in different categories. One's in AM, one's in Pro-Am, so they can just kind of push each other along, use the slipstream, and do a little bit of bump drafting down that long back straight.
It's a familiar battle from the championship. Those two tend to battle each other.
Definitely off the road.
There's a big crash.
Leone off the road. And a little bit more contact. Don't rejoin. Oh, well, that's not going to be looked upon too well. Bad angle that we saw it from as well, but Leone drops. I think he was running P3 as, well, second in second in AM and 3rd overall. Now he's dropped down to 9th overall in the MX5s as he's side by side with Ramak, I believe, into Degner 1, sends Ramak off the road, and through Degner 2 they are fine. And I think Leone, well, he's got the pace. He's going to go to the inside here on the kink. That's very optimistic, as that puts you to the outside into the hairpin, and, well, you can't make a move like that. Just got to be patient. He's had that incident. He's boiling up inside, but he does need to be patient. If he's got the pace to run in P3, he's got the pace to recover positions. But if he tries to do something desperate again, because look at that, he tried a desperate move. He's under pressure from Balavicius behind, and contact. Yep, that's contact, and that's what happens sometimes. You get into more and more incidents. Even though this one, I wouldn't say it's his fault, but if he wouldn't have tried that move, he wouldn't have been in this situation to begin with.
Yep, sometimes you can come a little bit too hot-headed into the races, and it seemed that it started quite well for Leone up until the start of the second lap. That's where things went wrong, and it actually went from bad to even worse for him. But, well, good news is he's still here on this virtual Suzuka circuit, 5.8 kilometers long track. 8-shaped, a very unusual shape of the circuit, and it's famous for that. 18 corners in total. Well, basically a very tricky circuit for the drivers to stay on the road. It's quite narrow. It has some mid-speed corners, including some slow and high-speed corners, like this hairpin corner, a very slow corner on the circuit. and follow up by the Spoon corner, which is a mid-speed corner with basically a negative camber, and really hard for the drivers to pick a very nice line through that corner. And it follows the drivers up to the 130R corner, which is basically, well, is it flat out in these cars? What about the GT4s? Do they do it flat out, the 130R?
Sure, I'm not sure if GT4 can do it. Probably can. I mean, it's got to be close. I think the MX-5s can, definitely. They're just approaching at a much, much lower speed. Let's have a look. So this is Mendelis. Well, if he does it flat, then everybody does it flat. Nope, a bit of a break. And yep, clearly Italianos ahead, also struggling to make the corner, so not flat in the GT4s.
And look at that. Sendersky is in front of Barbukov here. And this is a constant battle between these two drivers in the MX-5 class. Sendersky, he's usually better in the qualifying session, and then he loses the place to Barbukov during the race starts. This wasn't the case this evening. Sendersky qualified behind Barbukov, but managed to somehow overtake Barbukov during the race, and he's now in a healthy lead.
Yep, he's been quicker throughout most of the season, so it makes sense that he can run away. Look at that, the MX-5, well, it's quite slow, 114 miles an hour. It's 185 Ks an hour, so they can easily take it flat. And, well, I'm not sure that kind of curb jumping is fine. I would guess that deletes your lap time. Last lap for Italianos was deleted, but we saw him going extremely wide through 130R, and he's lost more time. He's now only half a second ahead of Mendelis.
Yep, a nice battle shaping up. Well, I think small mistakes come from here to there. Maybe he felt a little bit of pressure from Matas Mendelis, and then mistakes happened. He now needs to collect himself. Well, listen, this is the last round of the championship. Whoever finishes in front, I believe that driver will get the second position in the championship standings. Well, of course, we have that one drop round. It's a 6-round championship, but the drivers can drop one worst round of their championships. Of their championship runs. They are currently on 84 points for Mendelis and 81 points for Italianos. Both started 5 races, both finished 5 races, and both finished all the 5 races on podium places. So good results for the drivers, continuously finishing second or third in this championship, with Matas Mendelis just 3 points ahead. So he had more second place finishes. So that's definitely whoever will win this race, that driver will become the second place holder in the championship. So I wonder how that can be. Italiano sets the fastest lap time of the race. Matas Mendelis gains on him. Look, he was 3/10 slower on his fastest lap time. Do we have the last lap? Yep. Oh, okay. So it was a mistake pronouncing the fastest lap time a bit too late. The last lap of Italianos was 2 minutes 11.5 versus 2 minutes 10.7, and I think the fastest lap time was deleted. That's why we got the second notification. Well, something with that, I'm pretty sure. Can we have a comparison? Yep, there we go. A last 4 lap comparison between these two drivers. So Italianos lost 1 second in the final lap, and he gained a little bit more than 1.5 laps on laps 1 and 2. So you can say Matas Mendelis is gaining, but I think that comes only due to the mistakes of Italianos. And look at Spon, he's right there also with the leaders, 1.3 seconds behind Matas Mendelis. So this is a 3-car battle here. Now, of course, Spon doesn't play any role here in the battle for the championship. He can overtake both cars in front, and still whoever finishes in front of whom, I'm talking about Italianos and Mendelis, that will be declared as the GT4 Pro Plus class winner in the final round, and that driver will get the second position in the championship.
Provisionally, because we're not sure. Again, we're not sure with how the drop rounds will pan out.
I mean, look, both of them finished on the podiums. That means Mendeles has finished
All
the
rounds?
second.
Did they finish all rounds?
Yep, 5 rounds, and all of them were finished on podiums for
Okay,
both
so
of the drivers. So that
nobody
means
had a 0 score.
Yep, and 3 points for Mendeles. That means Mendeles had 3 second place finishes, while Italianos had 2 second place finishes. I think something like that. That's why we have the 3 points difference. 18 points for.
Okay, so they'll both throw out a 3rd place anyway.
Yep.
And actually, since neither of them has the win, that would.
Yep.
Yep, that would put them closer. So whoever finishes in front, and actually they don't even need to worry about Spawn behind, because that is not a car for position in their class. It would only be Singh in P5 and Baranauskas in P9.
And also Baranauskas in P10 again.
Remember, yeah, that's a Pro-Am car.
Yep, it is. We had the situation. I don't recall if we found out if both of them are brothers. One is Martynas Baranauskas, the other one is Mantvidas Baranauskas. And we had these two racing.
Did they say that they were completely unrelated? I think we had that somewhere on Discord. That's something I kind of remember.
Yeah, there was something about the Baranauskas guys. We've spoke about them already. I think that happened in this championship. So, well, I can say my memory is quite short. So
no, definitely not in this championship. I think we have to go like. I don't know, a couple months back at least.
Are you
maybe
sure?
More than half a year back for sure.
No, both of them.
Definitely not.
Both of them. Well, okay, look, Mantvidas Baranauskas is currently 7th in the Pro-M class, and Martynas Baranauskas is currently 4th with 26 points in the GT4 Pro Plus class. So both of them definitely raced in this championship, and we raised the question, I think, in this one, in these series.
Maybe you did, because I'm just looking at his past races. So he did do Division 1 at Donington. I wasn't there to commentate on that with you, and he did do, that's Mantvidas, did do VIR, but in Division 2. So we didn't commentate on Division 2, so definitely I think a different championship, or it was just you who was wondering that.
Well, if you remember the drivers or something, we've discussed about them, so maybe it happened in some premium series. Well, for me, both of them are definitely familiar. I'm not sure if it's from this championship or from the premium series. Anyways,
I'm thinking BATCC.
Maybe, yep, that's a good shot. That might be possible.
That's what I'm remembering, at least. Right, who is this? Nikkanen for P1, 2, 3 in the Pro-Ams against Sarma. This, however, is not much of a battle because Spawn is so far up the field. Yep, he'd pretty much have to have a no score to lose it.
Yep, and it's actually more of a battle between Nikkanen and Dautartas, and Nikkanen is losing now to Sarma into the spoon corner. Sarma goes tight, Nikkanen goes wide. Nikkanen is currently 11 points ahead of Dautartas, but Dautartas finds himself in second position in the GT4 Pro M class, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, he's right behind Spawn, while Nikkanen just lost a position to Sarma, so he dropped down to 4th position. Is there something that can change? Well, it's hard to tell. We don't see every result. of the drivers, so I'm not sure what is the worst result for Dautartas, what he could drop, but that, well, something might play out for Dautartas here in the battle for P2 in the GT4 Pro M class.
I'm trying to look because Nikkanen can't win the championship. I've just figured that out. So
Yep.
it's a null and void situation. Dautartas has 3 podiums. And that means he's lost a couple more, and well, I'll have to have a look. What are we dropping? See a P7.
Constantly the digging is happening during the final rounds with this slightly complicated point structure. Good that the drivers are doing only 1 race per evening. Not like we...
At that point, we'd give up, I think.
It would be a bit more difficult to figure everything out. Now we still have a bit of time to fiddle this riddle. And look at Mendelis. Oh, maybe the traffic is playing some sort of a part here, because the gap dropped down from 1.7 seconds to 0.9 as the drivers are fighting with this multi-class type of racing on a track that is pretty narrow and pretty difficult corners. I think Mendelis was more in luck here in this situation with these cars. Talianos lost a bit more than he would have anticipated, but he remains in the lead. Matas Mendelis was given the opportunity to put a little bit more of a pressure on the shoulders of Talianos, but Talianos is doing an exceptional job here this afternoon. He makes mistakes from time to time, but he can demonstrate phenomenal pace here compared to the speed of Matas Mendelis. As Gustas mentioned before, it definitely seems really strange as the drivers cut a lot of the curbing in the Casio triangle corner. Doesn't seem to be legit drive-through penalty. Someone received a drive-through penalty in the MX5 class. Not sure if that is that has something to do with the cutting of the chicane, the final chicane, as Matas Mendelis now found himself a little bit more problematic while overtaking the MX5s. Lost a little bit of time to Talianos. So I always love the expression from Gustas Grimbergas, traffic gives and traffic takes from. Yes, so sometimes you win, sometimes you lose a bit of time in situations like these. This is a multi-class racing action, not a usual multi-class. We usually have LMP2s, LMP3s, GT3s and so on in the multi-class type of racing. This time we have GT4s versus MX5s, the virtual club versus cup championship. This is, by the way, the final round. We've mentioned that plenty of times already, but to this occasion, let's meet and greet the new championship on the WorldSimSeries platform, the new premium championship, which is called Porsche Street Cup, and it will start its journey in 2 weeks' time on the 29th of July. So if you're doing nothing right now, you can just have a go and register for the championship right here, right now, because today it's free to do so. And it will not cost you anything to run in this premium championship, which has nice prizes to offer, but the biggest prize one could get is definitely the improvement of the driving, because well, we usually have some nice competition here. So it's gonna be a bit more basic championship compared to the Club versus Cup. It's gonna be a mono championship running only the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup 992 cars. So Singh just received a drive-through penalty, and well, it will have 30 minutes long races, so no pit stops, fuel usage 100%, tire wear 200%, so usual stuff. Qualifying time only 10 minutes, so that's gonna be a championship of quickies. And the last bit of the puzzle is all the tracks, all the 6 tracks on the calendar are street circuits, and to the likes of Bathurst, Baku circuit in Azerbaijan, Long Beach in the United States. Then we'll have a Barcelona city circuit, Macau Grand Prix, and for the final round, it's gonna be the Monaco Grand Prix circuit. So,
okay, going back to this championship, though, I was waiting for a really long time to tell you this, but for Dotartas to win, he'd have to outscore Nikkanen by 12, actually by 13 points. And then we'd look at count back, so he'd probably have to outscore him by 14, and that's not really going to happen. Just the way the drop rounds work is that Nikkanen actually had a P5 as his worst result, though this had a P4 as his worst result. So actually for Nikkanen, it would be less points taken away, and that would increase his lead by another 2 points. Dotartas would really have to outscore, and this is sometimes why I really don't like the drop round system, because it sometimes just takes away from the battle, because you're really dropping rounds with similar point scores. You're not really scratching off zeros side by side through 130R. And is this for position? It is not, actually, because that's Kudirka getting through on Ramak, but one's an AM and one's a Pro-Am. Actually, the AM overtaking the Pro-Am. Shouldn't really happen, but okay. Are they half a minute behind? No, the gap is just updating. But they're a big...
there's a big gap. It is a big gap. You can see that on the map. We only see now the MX-5s here running on the map, and there's definitely a very big gap between P3 and P4 here. Oh, as Rama goes sideways into, well, through the first corner, hitting the second apex of that corner, manages to control the sliding car.
Actually, that was kind of true. If you look at the leader, Ramak is half a minute down in MX-5.
Oh yeah, yep, that's definitely a huge gap, and as usual, Sendersky is performing quite well, even though he is an MX-5M driver.
Well, that was to Barbakov, but these two are super close on the track, so it doesn't matter much. Did we miss something? I mean, where does the half minute come from? Maybe I wasn't paying attention. I was looking more at the calculating the results. Where has half a minute come from? Because I mean, if you look at fastest lap times for Barbakov, it's a 24.2, and for Ramak, it's a 25.4. I mean, that's not... Maybe they had an incident somewhere?
Yep, that's most likely what happened, because none of the MX-5s have yet came into the pit lane, and I think...
Oh, have they not?
Nope, nobody has come into the pit lane from the MX-5. 0-0-0 for everybody.
That would have explained this. Now we're back to wondering what happened. And I guess we'll never know. Doesn't change much for the battle for the lead, because those two are gone, and they would be gone even if it's not, 100 seconds. It's if it's not 30 seconds, it's still going to be a big gap. So these two gone at the top in MX-5, not so much in GT4, but still the front two are definitely in a dominant position here. Unfortunately for Mendelis, unfortunately for Talianos, it's Talianos who's controlling the pace at the front. So unless Mendelis is doing some magic fuel save and he's not going to have to pit, this would be, well, kind of advantage. Talianos looks like he can just manage his pace. Makes mistakes sometimes, but looking more consistent, at least now. 11-4, 11-0, 11-0, 11-1. So last 3 laps, definitely super consistent. Mendelis jumping around much more in terms of lap times. You can see he was quicker, then a second slower, then a tenth slower, then a tenth and a half quicker. So his lap time is much more erratic, much more jumping around. That indicates maybe not enough preparation, maybe over pushing, maybe not enough confidence in the car. So sometimes he gets it done, sometimes just has to lift off at some points. 1.72 the gap between these two GT4 Cayman Club Sport cars as they come through 130R, super wide for both of them. I mean, at that point, just keep your foot on the floor, because you're getting the track cut anyway, right? I mean, you're getting the lap time deleted and a warning for track limits. Just, I don't know.
Yeah,
take
but
it flat out.
three cuts, you receive a drive-through
yeah,
penalty.
but I mean,
so
once you're going off the track anyway, you can see you're going off the track. What difference does it make if you go off the track by 20 centimeters, or if you go off the track by 5 meters and keep the speed up? You're still getting the warning, right?
I'm not sure how the system, the real penalty system works, but doesn't it calculate how much you gain and then decides whether to punish you or not? I think that has something also to do with the system.
I'm used to a system of it's a track limit. Whatever happens, it's a track limit, right? It doesn't matter why you went off, even if you lost time. Track limit's a track limit, especially through 130R. You can really gain a lot of lap time there by just letting the car run out. And it's not only time; it's sometimes tire wear and fuel as well. You might be able to gain. So yeah, I'm kind of in the mindset of, if I'm going off anyway, then why don't I use it up? Yeah. If I've got those free chances.
Ooh, drivers receiving drive-through penalties for speeding here, so something very tricky with the entry into the pit lane, because Balevicius is not the first driver here this evening to receive a drive-through penalty for such behavior. Wow, that's Sarma having some connection issues, but I think that might be a very nice notice for the remaining drivers. Just be a little bit more careful with the entry into the pit lane. Drivers are receiving penalties here, so if you did not have a practice how one should get into the pit lane here, drivers should be cautious. This is
if you didn't practice a pit entry, you're in big trouble. This is a pretty tricky one to enter. You're coming off the final turn, you're staying flat through the right, and then you're coming into a very tight pit lane and quite a blind braking zone down to what I think here it's still the pretty high speed limit of 80, so it's not that bad. Just looking at lap times, Talianos has turned up the heat. Mendeles can't keep up. He's lost 8/10 this lap. I just have the timing screen in front of me, and as they came through the line, yep, big loss. So Mendeles actually slowed down compared to what he was doing previously. And this is probably why, because he's overdoing it, and Talianos, he kind of built up to the speed. This track, it requires bravery, it requires commitment, but it also requires you to be precise. Down into the pits, one of the Baranauskas, and
it was Nikkanen.
Brothers. Nikkanen down.
Yep, Nikkanen was in the pit lane. He's now back on the racetrack, right behind Lapo. Sure, pit stops here,
okay, so not a great strategy. He's going to have to hope for Lapo to come down pit road immediately. I mean, he's 1.4 behind. He's come out in a bad situation here. He's got a guy that's quick. I mean, Lapo's no slouch. Or has Lapo taken the pits?
We can check this out using the CMRT complete HUD. Nope. And
But
it
it says
shows Nikkanen 0 pit stops. He definitely did one. Maybe he needs to cross the start and finish line for this system to work. Not sure. But I'm pretty sure I've seen him entering the pit lane right in front of Baranauskas. I've seen the camera switch shortly to Nikkanen while he was there. So maybe he needs to cross the line once to register his pit stop fully. We'll figure
let's
this
have a look.
out.
Let's have a look once they cross, because if it doesn't happen that way, well, then we can't trust any of the other pit lane indicators.
Yep.
Penalty for... Oh, no, that's drive-through taken.
Yep, Balavic is the driver who received the A penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's quite a long time here, long track here, especially for the MX-5, so it takes a bit of time for the drivers to complete their penalties, their drive-through penalties. After they receive one, running wide again. Maybe this is a limit which is a bit further from the side of the track, from the part where you have the curbs. Well, moment has come. Nikkanen crosses the line. Nope, the counter doesn't change. This is interesting. Yep, it still says 0. And suddenly we have only 4 GT4s. Sarma is out of the race. Sarma is out of the race. It was Nikkanen's rival here in this race, and whether he disconnected or I think he had connection issues, so that might be related. We've seen him flying, jumping front and back while being on the racetrack. And that might be connection issues. And actually he's back. Well, at least on the system. Yep, he's in the pit lane. So he teleported to the pits, I believe. Quite a long pit stop, so maybe he reconnected. Drive-through for speeding in the pit lane for Kudirka. Number 20 in the MX-5M class. Yep, the counters for the
I'm more confused why some of the cars say that they have made a pit stop.
Well,
and some don't.
Well, maybe Nikkanen didn't make a pit stop. I am sure that he did, but well, maybe the counters don't lie. We see Singh.
No, but remember we had that at at our special event in the Aurum 1006. We had something going on with the pit counter for sure.
We had something going on with the tire lap counter, and
but
here
we had
it doesn't work here again.
Counter. We had too many
definitely
pit stops for some cars.
Yep.
So if you saw Nikkanen come down pit road, I think that should be correct. And well, we'll just have to wing it and see how it is once everybody gets to the final lap of the race, because by that point everybody will have made their pit stops. So yeah, that is how our race is gonna go. Here's Talianos really pushing. Sarma back into the pits?
I think he's back
Wasn't
into
it
the
out?
pit lane.
Wasn't it out? Okay. So Mendelis, Talianos still on track, but Mendelis has lost quite a bit of time. 5.3 down to Talianos. Now, I think Talianos just gave himself a little bit of a safety net. Okay, Spawn has taken the pit stop, hasn't he?
I can't say, but yes,
Well,
he's behind Dautartas, so he definitely had to be in the pit lane. He was in front of Dautartas. Let's look at the counters. 0 again. I think he was
definitely ahead. Yeah, he was definitely ahead. I saw that he was definitely in front. So clearly, it is an issue with our pit counter. It's not something we can trust, unfortunately. That means it's all about us just looking at timing screens and figuring out what's happening and looking at live pictures. That is drive-through for Kudirka for cutting. So track limits. Already penalties coming in. Did Talianos pit?
Did he?
Yes. Looks
Yep,
like it.
yep, he did. Okay, hello, yep, Talianos went into the pit lane. Well, we are less than 10 minutes off the finish.
Yep, so Mendel is staying out. Question is, can he stay out all the way to the end? It's plus 14 to the lead. If Mendelis can stay out, there's no chance to catch up, but they were running a pretty similar pace. It was a very early stop from Talianos as well. He didn't really push it on the fuel, which has put him behind Doutartas, so he's going to hope that Doutartas is going to come down into pit lane soon.
A bit of a small hope maybe here for Matas Mendelis, not much. I don't think Talianos will get stuck behind Doutartas too long. Especially, I don't think Doutartas will be the
5 seconds. If Mendelis has to pit, it's 5 seconds that he'd have to recover. That's not going to happen.
Nope, it's not going to happen.
Unless Doutartas will put on a massive defense.
I don't think that's going to happen. He doesn't need to defend from Talianos. Both of them are in different categories. Both of them are on a different strategy. So
let's ride on board with Mendelis for a bit. I want to see if he is fuel saving. Nope, clearly not.
Ooh,
this would be a point of the track where you would fuel save. So he's definitely not fuel saving.
And
doesn't pit just yet. He's got just a little bit more fuel. And, well, he can run on a light car. It is a benefit. Definitely. And Doutartas stays out as well. It's a little early from Talianos to pit, because for sure he could have gone longer. I mean, I'm sure of it, because Mendelis is going longer, so he could have gone longer as well. So you might just have a little bit of aero wash, a little bit more stress, because he has to overtake that car. It's a little bit more advantage Mendelis, who might just be able to run to the end of the fuel and see where he ends up. This puts a little bit of pressure on Talianos to get back, to get past fast. And yep, he's definitely getting held up. Let's see by how much in the end that will be. Still sitting on the back of him, but now as we go through Degner's 1 and then into Degner 2, there's no real place to get past. Talianos is going to have to wait, but he goes to what is the inside for the kink, and Doutartas actually lifts out of it.
Yep.
So best case scenario for Talianos here. He didn't have to put on a move, a proper move. Just showed his nose and was given the position. If Mendelis can run a little bit longer, I would, just so he's kind of calm and safe. He's not going to jump Talianos in the pits anyway, because the gap's 14 seconds. That's, yep. That's not going to change. So just for safety, I'd, run as long as you can, I guess.
I think he can stay for one more lap here to maybe try and figure out something. I don't see anything changing here for Matas Mendelis. Will he? Nope, he's going into the pit lane now.
Yep, he waited for that position switch, and yeah, you can see that it's not really gonna help. And Doutartas pits as well. And that is, yep, a very, very clear advantage. That's Mendeles coming out behind. So Italianos just needs to run to the end, not have an incident, not have a track limit penalty, not have any little thing go wrong. And if he can get that done, he's going to take P2 in the championship.
So Dotartas also went into the pit lane, I assume, because he's now back again behind Spon. Lapo is still in front of Nikkonen, so I think Lapo is he maybe fuel saving here, and maybe he will not go into the pit lane, or he'll just hangs out a little bit longer.
Maybe he has already been in the pit lane.
Okay, yep, that's also a possibility. We cannot tell you that with guarantees because we already understood that sometimes the pit counter doesn't work. So maybe the guy who is noting the drivers who are pitting sometimes has some other things to do and well doesn't forgets to put that notice on the paper. We don't see if a driver was in the pit lane, even if he was. As Sendersky is, well, enjoying an extended gap between himself and Barbukov, 2.7 seconds. So quite comfortably in the lead of the overalls, of the overall MX5 class. And yeah, the gaps are basically quite big now between every car on the field. No close battles on the racetrack as we have 3 minutes of time. So let's look where Italiano is. He just crossed the line, meaning that we have 2 laps to go for the drivers here this afternoon. What about Yuri Lapo? Completing the Casio triangle and staying on the racetrack. So either he made that pit stop count and overtook Nikkonen, even though both of the cars are... Oh, both of them are in the same category. So what do we have? Spon first, Doutarta second, Lapo third in the Pro-Ams. Nikkonen is fourth. But yeah, that doesn't change nothing for Doutartas because that's not gonna be enough. And I think, what about Doutartas winning? 25 points for the win, and is it 12 points for P4? So, yep. Does that give him a small opportunity to snatch P2? You said 13 or 14 points difference.
Yep, he'd have to win. But then we'd go on count back, I believe. My calculation is right. We should go on to count back. And then I'm not sure who's gonna come out in front. But anyway, he's 6 seconds back. Doutartas is, so that's gonna be difficult.
No, I don't see Doutartas winning unless Spon makes a mistake. A mistake which would be enough for Doutartas to overtake Spon, but not enough for Lapo to do the same. So yeah,
so
that's
anywhere
not
between actually, well, I think it's anywhere between 6 to about 11 seconds. Oh, no, yeah, about 11 seconds, because then comes Lapo. So yeah, a very specific amount of time for a mistake. I can't see that happening, and it's actually. We just started the final lap of the race. Right?
Yep.
That's what I'm seeing on the track map.
Yep.
Italianos is on the final lap of the race. 40 seconds to go now. So he definitely won't be able to do another one. Mendeles 5.7 behind. He can't really do much either.
The pace for Mendeles was not too bad here in this race, and the most time he lost was due to the mistake that he made during one lap of this race. But that would
Well, there
still
were a
not have
couple of
saved
those
him because he was still losing time, and he's still losing time to Italianos. So that doesn't change anything. So he can be friendly with himself after this race. Well, he just lacked a bit of pace here to overtake Italianos, and well, that's what racing is about. The mistake didn't change anything here in this run for P2 in the overall standings, which Matas Mendelis seems to be losing at this moment, the way that things happen on the circuit right now. Italianos, he just needs to finish. He doesn't need to feel stressed at all. He has 6.5 seconds, and it looks like Mendelis is actually more stressed than the current race leader. Because he lost a tenth of a second per the course of this final lap, so it's going backwards for Matas Mendelis, not forwards. Italianos.
Maybe also on the edge with track limits could be another reason, and he doesn't really need to push. I mean, the only way Mendelis is catching up is by Italianos crashing out or going off the road, so won't change much. Oh, pit stops counted for them. So here comes Italianos. He's going to take P1 in Suzuka and P2 in the championship provisionally ahead of Matas Mendelis. And then it's going to be Spon who takes the win in Pro-Am and solidifies his title in that as well. Have other cars crossing the line, so a little bit crazy from the timing screen.
Baranhauskas drive through for cutting, so that might be a disqualification if he'll not make the drive through. Oh, that's Sendersky
no,
taking
it will
the flag.
just be converted to a penalty, a time penalty.
Okay.
It's fine.
Dautartas second in the Pro-Am category, and Lapo finished fourth ahead of third in the Pro-Am class ahead of Nikanen, which still doesn't change anything in the battle with the battle in the championship. And what about the MX-5s? I've lost a bit of what's happening here due to the... Oh yeah, it's already finished, so not every driver is present here in this race anymore. So we've lost a bit of the results here with the timing tower. No problems about that. We can always head over to the WorldSimSeries platform on the web and take a good look at the provisional final results of this race. Which you can also see now on your screens.
Italianos Mendelis Spon top 3 overall, but it's Italianos Mendelis and, who was that? Singh, who took P3 in the GT4 Pro Pluses. But he's all the way down in 7th overall. Then we have a GT4 Pro-Am podium Spon, who took the title ahead of Dautartas, Lapo, Nikanen. Nikanen finished second in the championship, Dautartas in third. Then we look down to the MX-5. Sendersky takes the win in MX-5 Am and takes the title with it. Barbakov took the win in Pro-Am and took the title with it. Well, took the title even before. Then it's Tarchani and Ramach. They finish out the podium for the Pro-Ams, and the Ams, it's Shire and Banavicius in P2 and P3 in class. So Sendersky really dominated the MX-5s, not only in terms of Am, but overall. So sure that next season he's not going to be part of the MX-5 Ams. But that is it for the Club versus Cup season, and join us in 2 weeks as Lorinas already introduced the Porsche Street Cup, and we're heading to Bathurst Mount Panorama, and dare I say it's probably one of the easier street circuits that we'll actually visit throughout the season. Macau will be a very interesting one.
That's going to be the 5th round in the championship.
That's the one I'm waiting for the most. We'll see how many cars actually make it to the finish. That track is hard.
Brutal. It is brutal. If you say that a bit easier. Anyways, Let's finish up with this championship. Congratulations to every podium finisher, and well, hope to see you in the next championship. Have a good evening, and see you in 2 weeks' time.